Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Dumelang Bahesu, Dumelang Mahae. Welcome to TADHackZA 2021. My name is Lucky Diteru, and I'm really excited about this year's hackathon. I believe this is, an amazing hackathon to have. As you know, that this is part of a global movement, really get at ensuring that we can equip young people, programmers, developers across the board to work with amazing technologies in the ICT space to ensure that we can solve problems that really matter. And this program has been running for 7 years, I understand, because it's part of a global, initiative that is taking place across the four corners of the world. Young people are celebrating basically this weekend in an amazing way. Here in South Africa, as you know, we are celebrating Heritage Weekend, Heritage Day today. I know that you are celebrating your heritage with style, really, by working and solving issues that really matter. And this initiative is brought to us by an amazing, as you know, the TADHackZA network that is always really doing TADHackZA things, and it allows us to do TADHackZA things this weekend together with you. My name, as I said, is Lucky Diteru, and I'll be steering this ship with you over the next weekend as we embark on this exciting initiative. We started this program earlier on with our sponsors who've really given us just a breakdown of why they are supporting this kind of initiative and what they're looking forward to. And we also heard basically from MTN South Africa, who've given us the rundown basically of the objective and the aim for supporting this particular initiative. And we will, as we start off our program and initiative, also hear from our participants, because I understand that this year we have 60 teams, which is a massive number, and we congratulate every one of you who has actually joined in to form part of this exciting initiative. So we will be basically also hearing from our participants, and I'd like to just take this moment to invite one of our participants to come online just to tell us a bit about how this experience has been since the beginning of this amazing hackathon. Remember that our hashtags for this weekend are hashtag TADHackZA. That's basically the only hashtag that we have basically for this weekend. Remember to make noise basically across the world. Tell people that you're doing the TADHackZA things. And I'd like to now just invite one of our participants to come online to tell us a little bit about their experience. Jerry, good evening. How are you doing?
I'm fine and you. I'm fine and you. Thank you. Thank you.
How are you doing? How's this how's your Heritage Day going so far?
Busy. It's been busy so far, just troubleshooting different ideas and different lines of code to see what we can what solution you can come up with.
Awesome. We're excited here in studio, and I know a lot of other colleagues that are watching live are also excited about what we're going to be doing together this weekend. Perhaps you can just tell me which one of the technologies are you guys using or your team is using basically to solve the problems that you have identified?
The one that I was actually that we were actually excited about was the cloud service being offered by IBM. We're currently just exploring some of the APIs and how we can integrate it with our app. So that's the main technology that's been very exciting for us. We're also looking into other also IOBA, the IOBA APIs. Yeah. Those are the main ones for the competition. So we're using React.js, which is a new language which I just picked up like a few days ago. So that's the exciting things about these hackathons. We get to learn new things, new languages, new frameworks.
Absolutely. We get to learn new things, new languages, new frameworks. No, it's awesome, and I want to wish you and your team the very best basically with your coding, and I know that we'll be giving a lot of tips as well, with our sponsors coming live later on during the program to just give some webinars and so forth. I think those will be able to address some of the issues that you face. So we know that sometimes we get those coding blues and so forth. Please be on the lookout and listen to what our teams will be sharing with you. And all the best to you and your team.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Awesome stuff, awesome stuff. And I understand from our technical team that we've got also another participant who's actually joining us live as well, who will be telling us a little bit about what they're doing with their team. Is it Sandra? How are you doing? Sandra, can you hear me?
Hi, Lucky.
How are you
Yes, I
doing?
can hear you.
How are you
I'm
celebrating
doing
your...
great.
Fantastic, fantastic. And how are you celebrating your Heritage Day here in South Africa today? How did you celebrate your Heritage Day? Sandra, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you.
Oh, fantastic.
So, yeah, I've been busy like with the research, and yeah, so far it's going so well. Me and my team are collaborating so well, having back-to-back meetings on how to solve the problem that we're currently having.
Awesome, awesome stuff. And maybe do you want to tell us a little bit about the technology that you're using and what are you solving for?
Okay, so currently we are using all the IOBA APIs. We have brought them into use in our application, and also we are actually currently looking for one of the mentors who can assist us with implementing like the IBM, because we were kind of struggling there and there. But so far everything is going so well.
Awesome, awesome stuff, awesome stuff. And I know that there are amazing mentors who are available to assist, and you know what to do. You go to our Slack channel, reach out to the team, and they'll be able to, to assist you accordingly. What has been the major challenge for you so far, though, as a team?
Okay, the major challenge as a team that we've been facing was to find the correct APIs so the idea is big. So we were kind of struggling to choose which APIs, especially between Huawei and IBM. So hence we are currently looking for one of the mentors to kind of show us the way. How can we implement that into our application?
Awesome, 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 awesome stuff. No, do reach out to our mentors on the, using our Slack channels, as well as, watch and listen to the webinars that will be taking place throughout, the evening. And you should actually be able to find some clues around how to solve some of the issues that you've identified. And what we want to also emphasize,
Yes.
Sandra, is also the importance of looking at the business case. What are you solving for, who the customer is, and what is your value proposition to that particular customer? I know as developers, sometimes we focus on the tech side, but not necessarily the business side. So we also encourage that in your team also look into the business side of things as well, right? As you develop your solution.
Yes, I'm currently focusing on the BMC. So yeah, I think we are coming out right.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sandra, for your time. And, we are excited and look forward to what you guys and your team will do. All the best to you and your team. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, those are, our team members. We've heard from our sponsors. We've heard from our team members. So I think the hackathon is in motion. We are super excited to do the buzzer things this weekend. And remember to hashtag using that, TADHackZA. That's our hashtag for the weekend. Let's make noise and inform everybody, that we're doing amazing things. You know how, people were saying, Gibela Pez Gwendlu, you are doing the buzzer things this weekend. Use our hashtags across the various, platforms. I understand we're going to have amazing things, amazing prizes from the Buzzer Network. And we are going to hear from one of our amazing ladies who will actually tell us about what we can expect this weekend. And this will happen shortly after this.
Welcome back. Know when you see me, I come bearing gift. So this year's TADHackZA overall winner gets 44,700 rands, and there are more prizes from the sponsors, including an internship opportunity, of course, so do keep engaging. So we also have breakfast, lunch, and dinner vouchers for grabs. Keep posting those workspace images, and don't forget to hashtag TADHackZA. And I urge you to spend so much time on the sponsors' websites as well. If you do want to win yourself those Take a Lot vouchers, come on now, get on those pages. And yeah, we do also have a $4,000 prize pool for using global sponsors APIs. Now let's get working. That's it from me, and we'll be back after this video.
Welcome back once again. What an amazing evening it has been, and I hope you're enjoying yourselves. You enjoyed hearing from our participants and earlier from our sponsors. I am not alone. As you can see, I am with an amazing gentleman, Mr. Ibrahim Said, who will actually introduce himself quickly in terms of what he does and say, how are you doing?
Yeah, thanks. It's good to be at TADHack 2021. So I'm the project lead for MTN South Africa. I work in the MTN IS division as an enterprise architecture manager, so overseeing policies, procedures, and systems.
Awesome. Yeah. And I understand here in South Africa we're celebrating Heritage Day.
Yeah, absolutely.
How did you celebrate yours?
I was in the studio. That's awesome.
Awesome, doing both things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. And we see that there are a number of young people who've joined this year's hackathon. We've seen growth, basically, from the previous year and this year. How have you been, experiencing, engagement on the platform?
Yeah, so I mean, this year's growth has been outstanding, right? I mean, we've gone to above 60 teams. That's really growth from last year. The engagement has been absolutely wonderful. I think what we've done is we've really gone out to the rest of the public and started to join more teams onto our channels. I suppose more challenges, and it's been fire.
Awesome. And I mean, part of the objective really is to look into maximizing the tech that is available, right, from sponsors and so forth. What actually has young people's engagement with the tech been so far?
Yeah, it's been wonderful. I think looking at the individual Slack channels, young people are actually looking at more more innovative ways of actually using and mashing up our event sponsors. And there's just been some excellent chats that have gone on during the course of the day. guys are really innovative, so that's really good.
Fantastic. And given that this is a global community, I mean, we've got a global community of young developers, doing amazing things across the world. What is your overall, view of basically this amazing community?
Yeah, I think everyone's really coming together this year. Specifically tomorrow at 12:30, we have a global mixer meetup with some of our other sites around the world, right? So whether it's Berlin or in the US, so that should be very, very exciting tomorrow. Wow.
And we've got an amazing series of webinars this evening. Do you want to give us a sneak peek in terms of what we can expect from the webinars from our sponsors?
Yeah, so this morning, I mean, the sponsors were outstanding. It was really just a taste for what you will see tonight. Tonight we'll dig a bit deeper into the technologies, to make sure that we have, a better understanding of the sponsor services, APIs, and everything they bring into the table. Yeah, really excited about that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Any last words to our participants and our viewers actually at home as they get up to really do the real deal?
Yeah, keep on hacking. Stay up this evening. I mean, it's going to be awesome. We have an entertainment channel on Slack, so join in on that. But yeah, keep your head up. I think it's going to be good.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Mr. Ibrahim Saeed, who has just given us the breakdown of what we can expect. And I hope you're as excited as we are. We are going to take a short break, and then we're going to be engaging further on some interesting things that you can expect. Thank you, sir.
Awesome. Thank you.
Welcome back. We've got an amazing program lined up for you. Welcome to TADHackZA 2021, an exciting platform that allows young people to use amazing technologies to solve real problems, right? So this has been an exciting initiative. And as I said earlier, this is a part of a global initiative that is happening across different cities in the world, and we are very excited to actually have the BOZA network bringing us this here in South Africa, together, of course, with amazing sponsors whom we'll be hearing from actually also during our webinar series that will happen shortly. As I said, my name is Lucky Tedu, and I'm very delighted to actually be part of this exciting initiative with you. One of the things that we've seen in hackathons is that techies, young techies, usually focus on just the technical side of things, but not really looking into the business side of what we're doing. I know that you are now working on your business model canvas, ensuring that you can actually build your business case. It is absolutely important to understand who are you solving the problem for? Which problem are you solving for? If I'm solving for X, which X am I solving for? That is absolutely very, very important. And remember in your customer segments as well, that in your business model, you've got the customer segments. Define your customers to the T to actually understand who are they, where are they, and what do they want. And I think one of the key elements in our design thinking process is really also engaging deeply with our customers to understand what we are actually solving, what their actual problems are, and being able to also differentiate them. Because sometimes you may actually have primary customers, secondary customers, and as well as tertiary customers. So it's absolutely important to look into that. And with our business model, the value proposition is very important. Once you have defined who your customer is, if your customer is the public sector, so you're solving a problem for government, you must actually understand how government operates. Here in South Africa, we know that government has different levels of operation, right? We've got the national government, we've got the provincial government, we've got local government. And you must understand basically how the procurement process works, who is actually going to pay you, and how are they going to pay you. So it's absolutely very important to actually understand that as you're building your solution. If your customer is the public sector, private sector as well, it's important to actually understand what is the biggest issue or challenge and what are you solving for, and also to focus on developing your minimum viable product, which is absolutely critical because it allows you to ensure that you can demonstrate to them the value that you're delivering. If I want to bake cakes, it's very important to actually start small, right? And I can start with a cupcake, and I get my customers to taste the cupcake, and I can build from there. And we've seen basically in our journey with hackathons that people can actually build businesses out of hackathons. I mean, there are a lot of amazing startups. I won't mention their names here, but that have really been able to use every single hackathon to actually augment and develop their solutions, really focusing on one particular element of their solution and ensuring that that element works very well. And they will go to the next hackathon to actually develop further. So it's absolutely important that we focus primarily on who are we solving the problem for and what is our value proposition to them, and at the same time look into the cost structure as well. How are we going to get paid? How are people going to pay us? Because that is very important. Are we going to, adopt a, monthly recurring revenue model, where we know that we can we have a certain number of, people that are paying us a certain amount of money, over time? That is very, very important. And also, it's important to understand on the other side of the business model who our key partners are. Key partners are enablers. The people who will be very important in our supplier chain. It's important to ensure that we have solid partners who can assist us to deliver that value proposition to our customers. And also our team, because you've got amazing team members that you're working with right now. It's important to look into the skill sets that you have. What are the values, the skill sets and talents that are brought by your team members, and what can you do actually to leverage those particular skills and network as well? How can you leverage the mentors that we have? Because we've got amazing mentors on our platform to ensure that they can actually augment areas in your team structure where you might actually have deficiency or shortages and so forth. So it's very important to ensure that you leverage those particular resources. At the same time, your cost structure, to deliver this value proposition to your customers, how and what are you going to actually, what are the major cost drivers? And what are you going to do to ensure that you can actually keep your costs as minimum as possible? But at the end of it all, it's that value proposition. What actually will move your customer to actually want to become your customer? So I think that with that, I've just given a high level, overview of some of the things that we need to look at. We shouldn't only just look at the technical side of things, right? Technical is absolutely very important, but a business case is also very significant. And I think it's one of the key things that we're looking into, for the winning prizes. We heard that the amazing prizes, up for grabs over the weekend. I hope you will be participating throughout, and we know that, participating and sharing what you're doing is absolutely important. And also for our sponsors as well, because they are supporting Africa's, emerging talent, new businesses that will actually take the world by storm. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to also remind you of our hashtags again. We've got hashtag TADHackZA, which is a hashtag that we're making noise with. We are gibeling Pezugwendlu this weekend to ensure that we inform people what we are doing, that we're doing the Boza things this weekend. I'm going to take this moment to invite one of our amazing sponsors, Mr. Carl Mr. Carl, let me just quickly check if that's it. Okay, just a moment. We'll be having one of our webinars actually from one of our sponsors from Globetrot, Mr. Carl Tobane, who is the CEO of TADHackZA Radio, basically, who will be sharing with us his webinar. This will be happening shortly after this. So I think our speaker is actually getting ready. So we will be hearing from our amazing speakers, and shortly after this, we'll hear from Mr. Carl Tobane, who is the CEO of TADHackZA Radio at Globetrot. Thank you.
Globitom is a South African technology company that provides business solutions through platform technology, enabling agility and speed to market at scale. We develop cloud-ready technology, leveraging APIs and related process capital, resulting in tailor-made solutions for real-time integration. Founded in 2002, Globitom is a proudly South African company that is now an international business with global customers in the telecommunications, aviation, and digital market sectors. Our highly driven teams pride themselves in creating business value for our customers, developing long-standing relationships based on value creation. Globitom is a long-standing member of the TM Forum, participating in numerous collaborative Catalyst projects, winning 5 awards in the process. We are a gold certified supplier of TM Forum Open APIs, with 10 certified TM Forum APIs and plans for further certifications. Our flagship integration stack delivers a comprehensive, secure, cloud-native, anything-as-a-service platform. Our comprehensive product set is fully integrated to provide seamless upscale and deployment capabilities. Globitom is a proud silver sponsor of TADHack 2021, contributing to the event through mentorship, technical support for participants, as well as offering 3 sets of APIs that can be leveraged to build innovative apps in line with the event's theme. The first set of APIs made available for TADHack 2021 come from our transaction processing platform, Revenue Weaver, enabling voucher management in the cloud. Our voucher management APIs provide the ability to issue a voucher to a customer, check the status of an issued voucher, as well as capabilities to redeem the voucher. The second set of APIs made available for TADHack 2021 come from our omni-channel UX integration platform, BuzzLinks, enabling SMS communication in the cloud through our WASP iWin. Our SMS communication APIs provide the ability to organize and maintain multiple segmented contact lists, manage message templates, send messages to individuals or groups, maintain messaging schedules. Lastly, we are making our Revenue Weaver digital wallet capability available to manage customer Ayoba's digital currency credits. We would like to thank our Dubai-based customer and partner iPay4All, who use our Revenue Weaver platform for financial inclusion market solutions in Africa, and are about to launch in Ghana with MTN Momo as integrated mobile money platform. They have made their AWS deployment of Revenue Weaver available for the TADHack conference to enable developers to use the basic digital wallet solution. The API can be used to onboard new customers identified by their mobile number or email with an initial credit request. Usage charging can then be done against the digital wallet. Lastly, balances can be obtained for in-app display.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us live is Mr. Carl Tobani, joining us basically this evening to share with us an amazing webinar. Say, how are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
Very good, thank you. I'm really impressed, I must say, and I think your company will be actually one of those good examples for our young developers to actually see that indeed Africa and South Africa can build a truly Afri-global brand. And I was looking at your company and how it has scaled, it's really, really, really amazing. So I think, listen, having a number of our young people listening in, what is that one thing that you can actually advise them as they develop their solutions?
Okay, great. Thank you very much. I actually have a presentation to share that I believe, I think earlier on we did share a couple of ideas that the guys can build on using our APIs. So if it's okay, can I go ahead and present my presentation? And that should definitely answer your question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Awesome. No, looking forward to your presentation. Thank you.
Great. Please let me know if you can see my screen. It should be coming up. Is it visible? Great stuff. Okay. Thanks for all the interaction so far, guys. It's been great. There's a few people that's interested in using our APIs. So I've put together this presentation that I'll also upload into the Slack channel as well, where you can get a more of a clearer picture in terms of how to use the APIs. So earlier in the morning, I did share a couple of ideas. So I'm going to expand on those ideas and share a few screenshots as well in terms of how you can test them using Appimatic and a few suggested flows for the apps that we had in mind. But of course, you can come up with your own ideas after this, but obviously this is just to try and encourage you in terms of how to use our APIs. So let me start. So the first app that we thought about was the voucher app that we spoke about in the morning, and this can use our Revenue Weaver voucher and our BuzzLinks communication APIs. So as we discussed in the morning, this is basically kind of the layout of how the app could look like. As I said, on Momo, you can currently send an airtime voucher to somebody and that person can redeem the voucher from an agent and receive cash. But here you would, the solution would be that you want to send somebody dedicated vouchers. So you can send somebody a food voucher that they'll purely spend on buying food, or a medicine voucher instead of a cash voucher that they can redeem. So the screen would look something like this. This is just ideas from our side as well, but you're welcome to expand on the ideas and see how you can use the vouchers for other use cases. So you can send a voucher to somebody, you can be able to view the vouchers that you've sent, and obviously you can build into the app some functionality to redeem the voucher, because normally there would be back end. Somebody would go out to an outlet, they would buy their groceries, and when they get to the till point, they would then input their PIN into a particular POS machine, for example, and the voucher gets redeemed. But because that functionality is not available, you can basically redeem the voucher and come back and view that the voucher was redeemed by the person that you issued it to. Okay, so if you go into send voucher, for example, you can choose between different categories of vouchers. Depending on the solution you're building, you can have a food voucher, medicine voucher. So if you choose food voucher, you can have different denominations of the food voucher. Obviously, the person that would be sending the voucher to somebody else, they need to do some upfront payment for that voucher. So you can insert a credit card, but again, I don't think there's any payment APIs available. So this is just, it's not a particular step that needs to be done in the app, but it's there for future if there is any payment APIs that we can use for integration. You would put the recipient phone number that you want to send the voucher to, and you will click send. If you then come back later and view voucher, it will show you the vouchers that you've issued with the PIN, and it will show you that the status has been issued. And then you can obviously take that PIN in terms of testing for the app and insert it there and say redeem the voucher, and the voucher will be redeemed. If you come back to view the voucher again, the voucher will show that it has been redeemed. Okay, so a prerequisite for this solution, we'd require that you create an address book on our BuzzLinks platform. And the address book could be named vouchers, for example. And in there, you could input the mobile number of the A party, the PIN in the serial, and the mobile number of the B party, so that later on, when you come and view the vouchers, it can query this address book and display the vouchers for you. Okay, so how to do that? You can create a new phone book request. So I think we've shared all the Appimatic links in terms of the documentation for BuzzLinks and for Revenue Weaver. So this is just an example of how you can create a phone book that would hold all that information. So the A party number, there's already a predefined field for it, but you can use our extended attribute to basically say the attribute one you're going to store is the PIN, the serial number, and the B party. And that's the response that shows that the address book was successfully added, and it shows you all the fields as well. Okay, so the flow for sending a food voucher to somebody could be like this. Obviously, because you're inserting a credit card, we'd have to fulfill the payment up front, and then you would invoke on our Revenue Weaver the voucher issue restricted API call, and we'll go through that as well. After the voucher issue restricted API call, you can then create a new phone book entry into that phone book that you just created to say this A party, this is the voucher that was received in the response, the PIN and the serial that after you issued the voucher, and we've sent it to the B party as well. So you insert all of that into a phone book. That's really just for storage, for referencing later on when we come to view vouchers. And then you can use our BuzzLinks API to actually send an SMS to somebody with the PIN, which is the recipient in this case, and basically this flow would end. So again, just going through the API calls to issue a particular voucher. These are all the screens where I've given you the payloads examples of how you would set them up. There's a particular attribute that you can delete at this time. We were still trying to update the documentation, so it shows only one attribute. It doesn't work with two. But basically, that's the example payload. That's still the request. And then you would get a response to say, there's the PIN, and there's the serial number. In this case, it would be a medical voucher if you had chosen medicine vouchers, for example. And that's the party that you are trying to send it to, and the channel in which they can redeem that particular voucher. Okay, then you would go ahead. Now you've received the voucher. You need to remember that the A number is sent to this B number, and this is the PIN, so that when you come to view vouchers, you can basically query this address book and go through all the vouchers in there and query the status of each and every one of them. So again here, this would be the mobile number that is sending the voucher to the person who's going to redeem it. You would provide an attribute 2 as the PIN, the PIN is there, and the serial number is the second one, as we created that address book in that order. Then you would get a response that an entry has been done into that address book to say this number has basically issued this voucher with this PIN and this serial number to this second party. Okay, after that, you can then create a message basically to send to the B party. So you can specify the B party, you can specify your message to say this number has sent you the medical voucher with this particular PIN, and the message will go through. You'll get a response to say it's successful, and this is a message I actually sent to myself while I was testing, so you can see this number has sent you a medical voucher with the particular PIN. So as the issuer of the voucher, you want to know what the status is of the vouchers that you've issued, if the person you've sent to them has actually redeemed the voucher, if they bought the medicine that they're supposed to buy. So when you come to view voucher, you can do a get phone book entry. Basically, it's the entry that we've inserted. And then from there, you will get the PIN. And from the PIN, you can do a voucher lookup PIN on our Revenue Weaver platform. And basically, it will come back with the status to say that voucher PIN has been issued. So that's an example of getting the phone book entry where you would get the PIN based on your number, of course, as the issuer, and you would get the vouchers that you've issued. So there would be different vouchers, but here there's one that we've issued so far. You would get the PIN, and then you would use that in the voucher lookup PIN API call, where you can specify the PIN there. And basically, you will receive a response to say the status has been of the voucher has been sold, meaning it's been issued it's been issued out. And basically that's the end of it. And then as we saw, if I just go back, that will then display on your app to say the voucher has been issued. Okay, then in terms of the voucher redemption page, you would come and take one of the vouchers and just redeem it. This is just for the developer testing then. And that's the redemption request with the same PIN again. the request continued, and the response would come back and basically tell you that it's a success. So now if you go back again and look up the same voucher with the PIN, you will see that it's been redeemed, and you can say it's been redeemed, in this case by C. Tobani as the second party. I wanted to use the other number as well, but yeah. So basically that's our idea for the voucher app then. That you can use our APIs, our Revenue Weaver voucher management APIs, and our BuzzLinks SMS communication APIs. Okay, the second example that we have is a job market type of app using Revenue Weaver again and BuzzLinks communication APIs. So the job market app could look something like this, as we spoke about earlier on. This would connect different kinds of people on Ayoba, people who are actually looking for a job in a particular area, and people who are looking to hire somebody for a specific skill set in a particular area as well. So there would be two parties interacting with this particular app. So the screens would look something like this. If you wanted to find a job, you can put your phone number in there. There could be predefined skill sets. You know, for the MVP, you could put 4 skill sets in there, a gardener, a waiter, something like that, and the locations that we're making this app available to as well. For the MVP, it could be several locations as well. So I can input my number and say, I'm looking for a job as a waiter in Krugersdorp, for example, and I want to subscribe for jobs. Okay, then as the second party, if you want to, let's say you're looking for a waiter, you would come and purchase some SMS credits because you're going to send out a campaign based on people who have registered for that skill set in the particular location. You're going to send out a campaign to them to say, hey, look, I'm looking for a gardener in Krugersdorp or a waiter, and here's my number, call me up and we can meet and set up an interview and so forth. So again, payment, you would have to purchase some SMS credits. You can put a credit card number there, and you would say, okay, because I want to send my campaign out to 50 people, I want to purchase 50 SMSs, and then this is my name or my company name. I'm looking for this skill set in this particular location. This is my phone number. And again, I would say for this campaign, I want to use, I want to send out to so many number of candidates, and then you would then post the job. Okay, and the way it would work as well is the prerequisites there where you could create a new phone book up front so that it's not done within the app. So there's just some preparation sort of going into production where you would have a phone book that's created with an attribute for skill set and an attribute for location. And also the way this thing works is that you're going to create a dynamic phone book. So this is sort of a global phone book where people that are looking for jobs, well, all their details will be in there. Obviously, there'll be different people with different skill sets and different locations. So you can't use that address book to send out SMSs to because there's people in there that don't match. So that's just the global address book that will always be there that you would then retrieve. And from there, you would match the people that specify a specific skill set and specify in a particular location. And then you would create another dynamic address book that you would assign the people that you actually want to send out to. You would create a message template with the message that you want to send out to, and you would then create a schedule because there could be multiple people that you want to send to. So you submit the schedule and you have to keep monitoring the schedule until the schedule says it's completed. It will then give you information to say so many messages have failed, so many messages have completed. So you need to then be aware because you need to charge that person for the SMSs that's been sent. So you will create another sort of phone book that's just purely for storage that you're not going to use to send SMSs, or you can use another storage resource that's made available by the other sponsors, for example, which you could store that information. But in here, you could use it on BuzzLinks as well, just in terms of a phone book, just to store information where you would post a particular job ID and outstanding units that need to be charged to that subscriber. Because you can, in the beginning, you can say, I want to send to 50 people, but it doesn't mean all 50 SMSs will go out, so we can't charge you 50 SMSs. We will have to look at what the schedule says after it has sent the SMSs to say so many were successful. So for now, you can input the upfront value to say 50, but you'll have to come back and update that value to say, okay, now I only want to debit 40 SMSs because those were successful. Okay, so again, we've got an API call for creating the phone book, which I've shown you before with the skill set and location. You'll get an ID of the phone book. So that's the upfront work that you can do. Again, you would, so yeah, some screenshots are a bit not correct, but I'll make sure that the presentation is up to date when I share it on the Slack channel. You can send your request, and then you'll get a response for creating the outstanding debits phone book as well, or you can use another storage engine. So again, if somebody is trying to find a job, they input their number, their skill set, their location. You would then create a new phone book entry in that phone book that you've created in the jobs phone book, and basically that's the payload as well, to say I am this number and I'm basically my skill set is a waiter and I'm in Krugersdorp. I'm basically looking for a job. And you would get your response. Oh, that's the request still. That's still ongoing. And you would get your request to show you that that entry was created in that phone book. Okay, so that's the person who's looking for the job. Now they are parked in that phone book. Then somebody has to come and say, okay, I'm looking for waiters. And that person would query that phone book. So the flow for, first of all, you would obviously have to purchase SMS credits. So again, the fulfillment payment part, that payment part, that can just be echoed back as if it's a success. And then you would use our Revenue Weaver platform to then create a wallet for the person who is requesting, who's the job provider basically, because they have said how many SMS credits they need. So you would onboard them on our Revenue Weaver platform, and the onboarding already works in one go that you can credit the wallet as well. Okay, so that's the particular request. So that's me. I'm saying I want, so if you're trying to do a credit to a wallet, you specify a negative value. If you're trying to do a debit, you specify a positive value. So this would actually credit the subscriber with 50 Ayobas, and this is the onboarding credit for the person who's trying to post the job, for example. That's still the request. You would get a success to say the resource was created. So the subscriber would then have a wallet with a 50 SMSs on our Revenue Weaver platform that you can later on come and debit. And then this is the more of the complicated flow that I still have to complete along with the other slides for you guys, but I'm very busy with that. And this just speaks towards the third screen on the app, which is somebody who is then posting a job. And they would input their company name, the skill set they're looking for, the location, the phone number, and the number of candidates that they obviously want to send to. So that kind of needs to match the number of SMS credits that they bought. So what you would then do first is do a get balance of that wallet now in Revenue Weaver, where the subscriber was onboarded. Does the subscriber have enough credits? If the subscriber does not have enough credits for what they've put in there, you can redirect them back to the purchase SMS credit screen, and we just end there. If the subscriber then has enough balance, you can go and retrieve the jobs, which is the global phone book, where the people who are looking for jobs, we have entries for them in there. You would get that phone book from our BuzzLinks platform. And from there, you would obviously do some matching, of course, because there would be other entries in there for other people with other skill sets and other locations. So you would choose from the attributes. When you get the phone book entries, you would look through the response data. You would look for somebody with that particular skill set, with that particular location. You would look for all the matching numbers up to the number of candidates. So you can randomize your search as well in your algorithm up to the number of candidates that the person is, because the phone book could match 100 people with that skill set in Krugersdorp, but the person who's requesting the job is only looking to send a campaign out to 50 people. So you can randomize that. You would then create your new phone book with a particular job ID that you can generate. So say job 1234, you would insert all those subscribers that you have matched in the global address book into this new address book. And then because you're going to use this new address book with the job ID to actually associate it with a message template that you're going to create, and with a particular schedule, once you kick off the schedule, then it's going to use that address book and send out SMSs to all those subscribers that you've basically identified. So you would then come and create the phone book. You would come and create all the entries in the phone book for the people you're interested in sending the SMS out to. You would come and create a new message template where you can put the text that you want to say this guy or this company is looking for a gardener in Krugersdorp. Here's his phone number. Please call him. So that's what the message would look like. You would then create a new schedule, and then the schedule would get submitted. And then at this point in time, everything is really set up. You would then update that outstanding debits phone book to say, okay, here is the particular job 1234. You can create the message template as well with that ID The message template ID will be job 1234, and you can create a schedule where you are going to get a particular ID. So that would be the name, job 1234, but you're also actually going to get an ID. You're going to get an ID here. So once you've got all that information, you can store it in your outstanding debits phone book to say, okay, this subscriber is providing people with a job. The phone book where those people reside is the phone book job 1234. The ID of the message template is stored there, and the ID of the schedule is stored there, because you're going to have to do some cleanup later on and delete all those sort of temporary structures once the SMSs have gone out. So once you've created that entry, it's there for you to remember to go charge from the wallet based on the number of successful SMSs that were sent out. You would then come back and probably sit in some sort of loop or have a job that's running that would then go and look at all the different schedules. You would then go in and get all the schedules, and then you would get the particular schedule that you've sent. And after that, you would update the phone book entry. So when you get the particular schedule after it's sent, it comes back and it says completed. It will say so many SMSs were successful. So now you need to update there, because initially you would have said 50. That's how much we need to debit. But now we could be debiting 40 SMSs, because that's how many we were successfully able to send to. And then you can come back and charge that to the wallet again on Revenue Weaver to say, okay, we are deducting from your wallet 40 SMSs. Those are the ones we were able to send. So now you have an outstanding, you have a balance of 40. And then there's still some flows I have to do here for you guys in terms of deleting all the other structures that you've done temporarily to get the messages out to the subscribers. So further on the presentation, I've got all the different API calls as well, along with the examples as defined in the flow. I still have to complete this. I'm probably only about 30 minutes away to complete this whole presentation, and then I will upload it for you guys on Slack. And basically that's it. That's the presentation on our side, featuring the two ideas that we spoke about early in the morning. We hope it demonstrates the capabilities of our APIs. A lot of people have contacted us, and they have some other ideas as well. But I hope you can look at this and be able to transfer it into your particular ideas for your solution. And that's it from our side. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Sir, for that. And I hope our participants are, inspired, and, they have actually gained amazing insights that will help them to develop amazing solutions moving forward. We thank you very much for your time and spending the evening with us, and also for being one of our, our sponsors for this event. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the TADHackZA, 2021, and an amazing initiative that is really geared at helping young developers to maximize new technologies that are emerging and to help use them to solve amazing challenges that we have. We have a series of amazing speakers that are lined up to actually inform us and ensure that they can, support our process, moving forward. I hope you are inspired, and this session with Tom has actually been able to help you to actually to move forward. We have a speaker from CSGI, which is one of our sponsors, who will also be giving us a presentation. Her name is Haifa El Ashka, who is an amazing speaker as well, who will be sharing with us some insights that can help inform how our solutions develop. We will play a short video, and then she'll come through to give us a presentation. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. There's been a lot of talk lately about 5G and the B2B opportunity, but what does that really mean? My name's Haifa Alashka, and today we are going to unpack the B2B opportunity. We'll be taking a look at what's driving the B2B opportunity, why collaboration is so important, and equally the unprecedented levels of complexity that this is introducing, and how best to capitalize on this B2B opportunity in the 5G era. So let's start with what's driving this B2B opportunity. To be honest, it's been 3 decades and 3 network evolutions in the making. To cut a long story short, 2G, 3G switch networks helped drive incredible B2C growth in the late 90s. But that was followed quickly by saturation in the late noughties. And while 4G packet networks promised to unlock B2C growth, instead they unleashed Pandora's box and drove B2C disruption, leading many CSPs to simplify and transform their B2C operations in the wake of B2C commoditization. So here we are at the start of a new decade and a new network evolution. This time we're moving to 5G virtualized networks, and this time the focus will be anchored in B2B. This is because many businesses around the world are being disrupted in similar ways to what the CSPs themselves experienced in B2C, with COVID and 5G only fueling and accelerating that push to digitization. So, with businesses needing to transform, this creates a huge opportunities for CSPs to help. But CSPs will need rich beyond connectivity portfolios to tap into that opportunity, and they will need to engage with a broad range of third parties to bring together those rich transformative solutions in that portfolio. Now, while the last decade focused on connecting consumers via social media, this decade will focus on connecting businesses via ecosystems. And in order for CSPs to better serve their retail B2B customers, they will need to engage in rich ecosystems and collaborate and co-create with B2B business partners. Even the CSP's B2C business operations will be powered by B2B collaborations, with 5G and IoT spawning even more B2B relationships. So let's unpack this B2C context further, and let's take gaming as an example. Now, gaming is a huge market opportunity. It's worth $160 billion as an industry, with 13% year-on-year growth expected in mobile gaming as opposed to console gaming. Now, I can tell you, my young daughter probably is responsible for most of that growth on her own. Now, let's explore gaming in the context of 5G. It's clear that each 5G slice will serve different use cases, with the EMBB slice being geared towards data-intensive use cases like gaming and augmented reality. Now, an immersed gaming experience requires latencies to be less than 20 milliseconds for that experience to be seamless. So, hosting the gaming app in the centralized cloud is unlikely to be adequate, thus requiring us to host it in an edge location. Let's assume regional edge clouds will be sufficient for this example. But in order to provide countrywide coverage with those low latencies, it will now need to be distributed in all regional edge clouds, thus resulting in a distributed deployment model. To be clear, there are many edge sites, so the deployment could span tens and hundreds of clouds. In fact, as of a few months ago, Telstra already had over 2,000 edge processing locations. So why is this important? Well, many of these edge sites are likely to be collaborations with other cloud and data center providers, and each site will have different cost profiles, just like Amazon hosting prices differ for their various AWS locations, resulting in complex multi-party, multi-edge models. So all this is creating complex B2B go-to-market models. For instance, in the majority of the cases, the gaming company, such as Nintendo, will probably own the relationship with the consumer. So the primary go-to-market opportunity for CSPs will be with the gaming company to host their app in their edge locations. As this will most likely need to be hosted in multiple edge locations, it will probably utilize a number of third-party clouds, each with their own cost profiles, thus creating a B2B to B to C business model. Alternatively, the CSP may reach an arrangement with the gaming company to bundle and resell it in their ecosystem, similar to what happens today with Netflix, thus resulting in simultaneous B2B to B and B2B to C business models. Either way, even B2C applications are driving complex B2B business models involving multi-party, multi-site, and multi-component solutioning. And these complex multi-party solutions and collaborations are challenging and changing the very nature of the traditional ecosystem. Now, I want to be clear, ecosystems are not a new concept. CSPs have been ingesting and reselling third-party handsets, routers for years. They've been fulfilling and settling with third parties for years. But this has predominantly been a wholesale relationship, meaning components were ordered in bulk, stored and fulfilled from an internal warehouse, and then settled in bulk, with many aspects of the process handled manually and by discrete parts of the organization separate from the selling process, creating a B2B relationship with the CSP and the partner on one side, and a separate B2X relationship between the CSP and the customer on the other side. Now, in recent years, CSPs have started to engage with service partners such as content and digital service providers. And unlike the bulk wholesale model, these services are more transactional, on-demand, and entrenched, meaning they are typically ordered, fulfilled, and settled per transaction, thus requiring a more integrated sell and fulfill process and resulting in a B2B to X business flow. Additionally, we are seeing a new breed of hybrid partners where the order and fulfill for something like cloud storage might be transactional and per customer, but the settlement is aggregated and happens at the end of the month. And all this is making fulfillment and settlement with third parties far more difficult, far more complex, and creating a mix of B2B and complex B2B to X business models. Now, while a lot of this has been handled manually to date, IoT and digitization are creating an explosion in the number of partnerships, thus stretching already fragmented processes and creating some very serious scale complexities. But the complexities are not just limited to the partner side. They are even greater implications on the customer side. While larger customers represent more revenue, they also represent more tailored contracts, more tailored solutions, and more tailored commercials. And given many offerings like, say, digital contact center, involve multiple third parties, this is creating some very serious contract to fulfillment to billing complexities, whereby that tailored enterprise contract very rarely gets fulfilled correctly, translating into some pretty hefty enterprise disputes and collections and manifesting in some of the lowest NPS scores in the industry, thereby creating a real tough situation where a CSP's most highly prized customer, the enterprise, is also one of their most dissatisfied customers. And the customer satisfaction don't stop there. Some of those business customers are also business partners, creating a dual B2B relationship and making that all-important customer experience on the retail side just as important on the wholesale side. And while all these partner and customer scenarios are challenging the traditional ecosystem, IoT is changing it. IoT is fueling the rise of network as a service. Third parties like car companies are embedding CSP connectivity into their products to create smart offerings to sell to their customers. And all this is creating a reverse B2B to X business model. Now, what that means is that traditionally, CSPs have been reselling and white labeling third parties. However, now with the rise of network as a service, third parties are embedding and reselling CSP capabilities. And with the rise of private networks and 5G, examples like the gaming one we just explored earlier are exasperating this situation, transforming the reverse B2B to X business model into one of the most dominant engagement models going forward. And all these challenges and changes from partner engagements models through to multidimensional relationships through to network as a service are driving more B2B relationships and more B2B complexity. So we've spent the last 12 minutes exploring and unpacking what's driving the B2B opportunity and, more importantly, all that complexity that comes with it. Now, the million-dollar question is, how can CSPs tackle these challenges and capitalize on the B2B opportunity in the era of 5G? So I will spend the next 5 minutes outlining what we believe are the key imperatives for B2B in this decade. As we have already established, B2B relationships and complexity will only continue to increase, even for predominantly B2C operators, given that dependency on those rich portfolios. So, what are the key imperatives required to successfully capitalize on the B2B opportunity in the era of 5G? Now, without a doubt, a super laser focus on the business aspects such as the customer experience and enabling outcomes for your business customers are going to be key to attracting and retaining them. But without a rich portfolio, it's actually going to be difficult to do that, and even more difficult to grow revenue. And in order to establish this rich portfolio, an ecosystem of diverse and distributed partners will be critical. But how do you take these rich and complex processes that are increasing in complexity and create a dynamic ecosystem, one that can enable a seamless experience while easily scaling? Now, in the last 5 years, Uber and Netflix paved the way for elevated experiences with slimmer offerings and operations, leading many CSPs to strip down complex processes like contracting, payment and support models in favor of that elevated experience and that more cost-efficient operation. But unfortunately, stripping away these capabilities in B2B won't work. Businesses will require more co-creation and more tailored solutions to meet their transformation needs. And 5G slicing and network as a service will only power more customization, not less. The secret actually to success in B2B will actually hinge on interoperability, not stripping away capability. Now, while the Netflix B2C model is simple enough, it is actually powered by a complex B2B ecosystem of content studios, agencies, communication providers, and even competitors. And that ecosystem works efficiently because of common standards and common protocols. In fact, in a decoupled world, a common data model, open APIs, and dynamic orchestration will be even more critical. And it will need to be underpinned by cloud architectures that can automatically scale. And these standards and scalable architectures are going to be key to dynamically powering these complex multidimensional ecosystems, which in turn will be key to creating those rich portfolios that need to drive that all-important revenue growth. Now, with a broad, multi-party, diverse ecosystem and many decoupled architectural components, trust at both the business and technical level will be at the forefront of every ecosystem. And these BEST imperatives will provide the foundations for capitalizing on the B2B opportunity in the era of 5G, where the B represents the rich business experience and portfolios. The E represents that complex ecosystem required to power it. The S represents the standards needed to drive interoperability, and the T represents that all-important trust needed to underpin the relationships and platforms. So that is the end of today's session. And that wraps up the discussion on the B2B opportunity in the 5G era. Thank you again for making the time to join.
Wow, I hope you absolutely enjoyed that particular session. What an amazing presentation, highlighting the best model. Please remember that, because it's an amazing model that really demonstrates how the world has evolved, but also how value creation, what actually it should be centered on. I mean, I love the business case element, the ecosystem standards, and also, the importance of trust, in ensuring that you can deliver amazing solutions to your customers. I hope this presentation has been very informative to you and also very inspirational as we have enjoyed it. Thank you very much to our speaker, to our presenter for giving us that amazing presentation. Our next presenter comes from a company that most of you do know. It's also one of our amazing sponsors who have really, come, in to support this particular initiative as a platinum sponsor of this hackathon. It's Mr. Sibusiso Mkombe from IBM, who will actually be giving us a lovely presentation. He is a cloud engineer, hybrid cloud team at IBM. How are you doing, sir? How are you doing this Heritage Day?
Good evening. I'm okay, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. Awesome stuff. So I understand that you've got an amazing presentation for us. We've got a team of amazing young innovators who are ready, to hear what you have prepared for them this evening.
Okay, thank you. Okay, please just let me know if I can just begin. Okay, great. Just give me a moment. Okay. Okay, so okay, firstly, thank you everyone for taking your time to sort of watch this presentation. My name is Busom Kombe. As I've been introduced, I'm a cloud engineer with the IBM South Africa group under the hybrid cloud build team. What I will be showing you today is sort of a short presentation, right, on how you can get started with IBM Cloud and essentially how you can bring your use cases and your ideas to life. So what we'll be doing is we'll be sort of sponsoring the participants with cloud accounts, but also we'll be extending those capabilities and allowing them to sort of go into the paid services if needs be. So we're providing things like your OpenShift clusters, we're providing things like your tokens or rather your feature codes for any paid service that they require. Okay, so what I will do now is I'll just quickly share my screen. Then we can just quickly begin and see exactly how we can get started. So firstly, what I want to talk to everyone about today is our IBM developer site, right? So if you go into the link here, and I will share all these links with everyone. I have a GitHub repo set up where all the links are found, and where everything that I'm going to say to you now, you'll be able to sort of read through it as well in a later stage. So please just keep an eye out for that. So everything that you want in terms of tutorials, code patterns, if you want to see exactly how you can bring your ideas to life, this is the site for you as a developer. So this here is the IBM developer site. It is the home for IBM developer content. So we have things here like your tutorials, we have things like your videos, your blogs, your code patterns, which is very important. We have various other content like CSV files containing data for machine learning models. So this is essentially where you want to play around if you're a developer. So how do you get started with this, right? The first thing that you do is, first and foremost, you can filter the content. So as you can see on the homepage here, there's a learning path that says supervised deep learning. You can go through each of these here. But also what you can do as a start, you can come here and search for tailored content. So as an example, I can come here and search for something like maybe deep learning. Okay, if I click enter, what's going to happen is the results will load, and we'll see exactly what we can find on the site here in terms of content and deep learning, right? So as soon as that loads, as you can see, we have things like your learning paths, we have things like your articles. If I go all the way down, we have, okay, it's more articles and tutorials, but most importantly, on the left-hand side here, we are able to filter your content. So what that means is you're able to filter and look for example tutorials, or articles or blog posts or conferences. But what's very important here, and this is actually sort of the main feature that we have on the IBM developer site, we have something called code patterns. Okay, so what this do is they essentially allow you to see exactly how you can take an idea from just an idea and sort of put it into a real world implemented use case. So as an example, if I just click on the first one here. Okay, so what it does is the context here is structured in a way that it provides you with a summary first and foremost. So as an example here, we have a pattern that demonstrates how we can use deep learning to forecast the demand for cash vending machines. So this is essentially a machine learning program which just tells us what the demand would be in the future for vending machines. So if you have an idea like this, you can sort of go in here and click on get the code. What that then does for you, and I'll just open this in a new tab. Okay, no, it's fine. What that does for you is it provides you with a GitHub repo, right, which is completely open source, and you're able to sort of clone this locally, run it locally, tweak it however where you want to tweak it. And it also, most importantly, shows you exactly how IBM products, so we have an IBM catalog, and I will explain that in the next few minutes, how IBM products which are found in the IBM catalog can be used to bring about your implementations essentially. Okay, then if you go all the way down, it shows you exactly, there's a README file here that shows you how to get started. There's an actual diagram here, It shows you which components are included. In this specific case, we have something called Keras, we have our TensorFlow, we have Watson Studio, we have the IBM Cloud Object Storage, we have your Jupyter Notebooks. So all of those important components that are included to allow us to create our project essentially. So as soon as this is done, you can go ahead and look at the steps. So of course, first you'll create an account, create a project. So it is a step-to-step guide on how to get started and proceed to actually have an end product. So what this is governed by, it's governed by our IBM Cloud catalog. Then what I will do is in the GitHub repo, which I will share, there is a link that you use to sign up for IBM Cloud. That link allows you to create a free account if you do not already have one. If you already have one, like myself, you can use the same link to log into IBM Cloud. What that will then do is it will allow us to provision services for you in case they are paid for and you need to use them for the actual hackathon. Okay, so it's going to take a bit longer for me to log in, but just give me a moment. Okay, so as soon as you are in, this will be your landing page. The landing page here essentially is your dashboard, right? What it has initially is it has a quick resource summary. So these are all the resources that you have consumed on IBM Cloud. But to get started, what you want to do is you just want to go all the way to the top. Just next to the search bar here, there is the catalog. If you go ahead and click on that, okay, so if you go ahead and click on that, as you can see, you can view all the IBM Cloud offerings. In this case here, you can go ahead and filter these in terms of their category. As you can see here, we have the compute. Under compute, we have 21 resources. Then going back here, we also have containers. Excuse me, we have networking, we have storage, we have machine learning or AI. We have analytics, we have blockchain databases. So you can just come in here, filter with regards to your use case. So if you want to implement something with regards to AI, you can go ahead and just click on AI. Then it will show you some of the services that are used to accomplish AI use cases. So the most used one here should be Watson Assistant, which allows you to build conversational interfaces, things like a chatbot, and sort of deploy them or integrate them into any application, device, or channel, right? We also have things like your Knowledge Studio, your language translator. We have your machine learning service, which just runs deep learning models for you to solve your problems in a much more smarter manner. We have our natural language understanding. So these are some of the products that we have in terms of AI or artificial intelligence, essentially. But also, if you're looking for something specific, you don't have to go through all the products. You can come all the way to the top here. Maybe search for databases, right? If you want to implement a database. So I'll just spell that right. Okay, so if you do that, it shows you some of the databases that are available in IBM Cloud. As you can see, we have databases for MongoDB, PostgreSQL, DataStax, but we also have our IBM DB2 if you want to implement a database that allows you to store text and files. We also have things like your PostgreSQL. We have things like your container technology, which includes your Kubernetes and OpenShift. So this IBM catalog is very intensive with regards to what we have here. But most importantly, what we have that drives the usage of this product is the documentation that goes hand in hand with the actual product, right? What that means now is that if you click on one of these services, firstly, you will see a quick summary of what the service does for you, right? Then secondly, what's going to happen is you will be able to see more use cases. If you go to the About, you'll be able to go see more use cases. So in this case here, it explains, there's a quick summary again. So this is much more in detail than the previous one. You go all the way down, you can just scroll a bit down here, and then it shows you exactly how the interface looks when you have provisioned the service, what it allows you to do inside the service as well. Then as soon as you're happy with that, you can go all the way back. And then from there, what you can then do is you can just click on create. Then very importantly, you can select the location here. If you're unsure, you can just leave this as it is, or just ask one of our mentors on the IBM Slack channel how to proceed. Select the free plan account, which allows you to use the service to a certain extent. Then from there, you can go all the way down towards the end. Give your service a unique name. You can just change the name here into anything that you like. Leave everything else as it is for now. Then just click on create. Then what that will then do is it will add the service into your IBM Cloud dashboard and services for you to then be able to utilize. So in case you're not sure on how to proceed or where to start, right? What we also have here is the nice feature where you are able to look at the documentation. So the documentation here is an in-detailed description of how the service is used. What it does is it provides you with essentially a hello world or a template use case of how the service can be implemented. So it shows you here, okay, no, before you begin, you need to, as an example, in this particular service, you need to create the service first and foremost. Okay, obviously you need to select sign up for IBM Cloud, then click create on the service. Then from there, you can go ahead and launch the Watson Assistant. Then from there, you can create a first assistant, create a first skill, which essentially will allow you to create a chatbot and integrate it into your application a bit later on. So as you can see, this is very detailed. It explains what everything that is in the actual service is. Then from there, it shows you, guides you step by step on how to do everything. Then from them, if you have more questions, right, at the very end of this here, you are able to continue and see other uses of the service. But of course, as well, on the left-hand side, you are able to see exactly how you can proceed with essentially other use cases, things like your tutorials. You have videos here. You have in-detail description, you have other tutorials, so things like how you can improve a dialogue, how you can add understanding dialogue skills, digressions. You can also go all the way down. It shows you how to create an assistant. You can just click on this, how to build a conversation using your chatbot. So this here walks you through step by step on how essentially you can start from being a beginner on using IBM Cloud products. Then if you follow these along, you can go all the way into implementing and deploying something into the real world in a matter of a minute or hours, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. Then of course, very importantly, please utilize our IBM developer side, right? The code patterns here are regularly updated in terms of content. That way, we fix the bugs regularly as we go ahead, and everything in here is described into detail as exactly how you can implement it. Then if you have use cases that you want to implement and you're not sure on how to proceed, we have a dedicated team of mentors which are able to help you with the ideation if needs be, and walk you through your product, your problem, and to how exactly you can solve it using the IBM Cloud products and other open source products as well, which is very important. Then what's going to happen is tomorrow we'll have a separate session. I will just try and organize that where I show everyone how to deploy on OpenShift. Then I will assign clusters to you so that you can be able to host your applications, have a URL so that when you submit to the judges, they'll be able to see your application from their own machines instead of you demoing it them directly to them. Okay. I think that's where I'm going to end today. What I will do is I will share the link to the IBM GitHub link that I've set up. Just give me a moment. Okay. This one here. So, okay, yes, this here is the GitHub repo. What it has is it has a quick summary of everything that I've just said now. And also I have added onto here so that you guys can be able to access it much more quickly. I've added suggested code patterns, right? So this here shows you exactly how things have been implemented. So in this case here, number one is building an assistant to evaluate various health insurance policies, transcribe audio. So if you follow the links here, they will lead you exactly to the code pattern, and you can read more on the code pattern here. So I've included 25 chosen code patterns by myself, but of course there's way more. Please reach out to me or to my colleagues in the IBM Slack channel, which you can find under Leno Connect. Then just connect with us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, very much for that presentation. I just want to understand from your side, what would you say are the top 3 things that our developers need to look at as they develop their solutions over the weekend?
Okay, no, mainly they need to look at implementing their use case as thoroughly as possible, and also utilizing all the cloud technologies, right? Because what I feel is crucial into developing quickly is to utilize optimized cloud services so that you don't have to recreate things that have already been created for you and available on a platform like IBM Cloud, as an example. So I think that's some of the things that you need to take into consideration.
Awesome. And in terms of basically having been in other hackathons previously and last year and so forth, what are those maybe 1 or 2 things that they need to take into consideration to ensure that they can maximize the use of these technologies, but also time, from a time perspective? I don't know, is there a hack that you can give to our viewers at home?
Okay, no, I think teamwork is very important, right? So one of the mistakes that many developers make is they try to solve everything on their own. So as IBM, what we have done is we have allowed for a group of experts, right, in terms of IBM Cloud products to be readily available. So our participants can contact us immediately to get help on the services, so that they don't have to waste time trying to implement something that we can sort of work together as a team to get and sort of continue improving. So that's one of the main advice that I'd have, yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time and also for sharing your insights with us. I believe that our viewers are very empowered, and they're also very excited as well to know that we've got mentors who can actually be able to support them during this weekend. Thank you very much for your time and also for your presentation. We wish you a great evening further.
Okay, thank you. You too.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. That was our presenter, Prasbu, just taking us through, some of the things to take into consideration, and also some of the highlights that are absolutely critical, for us as we move forward. As you know, this is the TADHack 2021, an amazing platform that allows young people to leverage new existing technologies to ensure that they can solve issues that really matter. And I'm hearing that a lot of our presenters are highlighting, the importance of, looking at a business case and solving the real deal, because in solving the real deal, you will actually be able to, find that investment that you require. As I said earlier, there are a lot of people who've actually built businesses, through this particular hackathon. And this hackathon has been going around for 7 years now, since 2014. We understand that there are a lot of businesses that are emerging out of this. Do take it seriously. Maybe you will be one of those, new startups that will be taking Africa, by storm. Our next presenter is from a company called Contactable, and his name is Peter de Jager. He is basically the Chief Technology Officer who will be joining us basically live shortly. Peter, how are you doing this evening?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Very good, thank you. How do I pronounce your surname? I want to pronounce it well moving forward. How do I pronounce your surname?
It's no problem, it's de Jager.
De Jager. Okay, no, thank you so much. I'm empowered as well. And how is your Heritage Day going?
My Heritage Day is going very well, thank you.
Fantastic. And thank you very much also for being one of our sponsors, our gold sponsor for this hackathon. I would want to just basically hear from you as well. What inspired you to actually partner up with MTN on this amazing initiative?
Yes, this is the second year that we've partnered with MTN. We currently do provide them with some of our KYC solutions. So I think it's a natural fit. As our CEO earlier this morning alluded, digital identity is very important, and that's the field that we play in. And I think your hackathon theme this year ties in very nicely with digital identity. So, we've got a very simplistic API which we want to share with the participants. And I think it's an absolutely perfect fit for the type of challenges that they want to solve this current weekend.
Awesome. If I may just quickly ask you to switch on your camera. I think our viewers at home would love to see, the man behind the voice, this evening. Wonderful. Thank you so much. I know that you've got an amazing presentation that you've prepared for us. I think we've got an amazing team of young people. I understand that we've got 20, how many, not 20 this year, but we've got 60 teams actually that are forming part of this hackathon. And they are ready and, waiting to hear from you this evening.
Oh, that's fantastic. The more the merrier.
Okay, super. What we're going to do, we'll play a quick video just to introduce our sponsor and just what they do. And then shortly after that, you'll then take us through your presentation.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi there, everybody. This is Sean from Contactable, and I really just wanted to say a quick welcome to everybody that's going to be involved with this year's MTN 2021 TADHack competition that takes place in about 2 weeks' time. From a Contactable perspective, we are again gold sponsors this year and very honored and excited to again be involved and associated with TADHack and of course MTN. We are particularly excited this year about the theme, which is all around emerging from the pandemic and the evolution into the fourth industrial revolution, which, as all of you will know, it's all about a technological revolution. As we're seeing more and more technologies, products and services, everything going digital, the world is very different to what it was a decade or so ago. And digital technologies are certainly emerging everywhere, and we see them in our everyday lives. And as Contactable, our business is all about digital identity and, more important, digital identity orchestration. Because in its simplest form, doesn't matter what digital technology you have, you still need to know who you're dealing with and that the person is who they say they are. So over the TADHack period, we'll be exposing some technology to you guys, some APIs that will help you with that particular problem that you need to solve in some of the solutions that you come up with. And obviously we'll have our team on standby to support you throughout that particular period. As we did last year, hopefully to get you even more excited, we will certainly be offering a couple of prizes, which will include some internships to Contactable. Typically for a period of 12 months, gives you an opportunity to get a nice job if you need one, and also to interact with some of the top software developers, engineers, and innovators in our organization that have been deploying this cutting edge technology for quite a few years now. So hopefully something to get excited about. From my side, I will definitely be involved over the weekend. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be judging a couple of the events, and I really look forward to some of the clever innovations and technologies and ideas that the teams come up with during that weekend. But most importantly, my message to you is have lots of fun. It's a great event. It's a great opportunity to network, to learn, to ask lots of questions, and just absolutely absorb every second of it. It's going to be tough, so get some sleep beforehand. I'm sure it's going to be a tough weekend for many of you, but surely will be worthwhile at the end of the day. Anyway, until I see you in 2 weeks' time, cheers for now, and really look forward to meeting you in 2 weeks' time. Ciao.
All right, excellent. Good evening, everyone. Let me quickly share my screen. All right, maybe just a confirmation that everyone can see my screen. You're seeing me. All right, let's try that again. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to put F5 as A. Excellent. All right. As we've mentioned, we're just going to share a very simplistic API to all the participants tonight regarding identity. So let me just give you a little bit background intro into how this API works, some background on authorization, whitelisting, and then I'll also just take the team through Postman, which we find is the most convenient and the easiest tool just to get you going. We honestly try to make it as simplistic as possible because we want the participants to succeed. We want them to play around with it. So let's get cracking. All right. Some of this might be self-evident to some of you, but just to give you some background on the South African ID number, as you all know, it's 13 digits long. The first 6 digits is your date of birth. Then the middle 4, digits 7 to 10, denotes your gender. So 0 to 4,999 is female, and then 5,000 to 9,999 denotes male. Then digit 11, which is the 0 in my example, that denotes your nationality, i.e. you were born in South Africa. You will find foreign nationals that have naturalized in South Africa and have received an ID number. Their number will be 1. So that's also an acceptable format. Then digit number 12, 8, is all numbers in South Africa post 1994 is now 8. Preceding that was a historical application that's no longer relevant. And then the 13th digit is just a checksum digit that gets calculated to determine if the preceding 12 digits are valid. So let me just quickly give you an example. For anyone out there that wants to earn some extra points tonight, here's the algorithm to determine if the South African ID number is invalid or not. So you'll see throughout my whole presentation tonight, I've used the ID number of 9101010123 It's a random number I picked. It is indeed invalid, so it will not work, but here's the algorithm that you can follow to prove that this ID number is invalid. And maybe take your own ID number tonight, use this algorithm, and see if it's actually valid. After you've used our API, you'll certainly know whether your number is valid or not. But a fun little exercise for you to do. All right, just a little bit of housekeeping. So because we are using a live database over the weekend to interrogate your personal details, we've had to whitelist your ID number. So you would have seen on the Slack channel, a web URL was provided with a little web form that you just have to complete to register to use our API. Once we've received it, we will then whitelist your ID number, and then you'll be able to use our API. Right, so the name of our API is Validate ID. We use this API to validate your number against the golden source in South Africa. There's the URL that you will call. I will show you in the Postman collection that as well. Very, very easy. This API requires literally one input, and that is your SA ID number. In the previous slide, I mentioned the whitelisting. Please don't put in your mom or your dad or your best mate's number. It's not going to work. Their number hasn't been whitelisted. It will only work with whitelisted numbers, which hopefully is yours. And then one little small request. In the input for the ID number, please use the double quotes when you input the ID number. So preceding and preceding your ID number, just include the double quotes. Below is a curl of the code snippet. I'll again show you practically in Postman. Then from an authentication perspective, for this event of the weekend, we'll use a basic auth. So no fancy certs or JWT tokens. I'll show you where to just make sure that once you use it in Postman that it's set up for basic auth. You'll have to submit a username and a password with your post request. all the users will use the same username. The username is mtn_tad_user, and then the password is this long good number. We have distributed the slide deck to everyone that's on the contactable Slack channel, so you all should have received that. As I've mentioned, all of you will be using exactly the same user credentials. Then, most importantly, let's just quickly have a look at some of the postman statuses that you should run into over the weekend. Hopefully you all will get the status 200. That's the all thumbs up, all good. The golden source responded positively with your input. I'll show you in a couple of minutes what the actual response object will look like once you call the API. All right, now the negative journeys. Okay, so the first one is 400, your bad requests. You will get a 400 bad request in 2 scenarios. The first one is you've submitted an invalid ID number. So the number that I showed you a couple of minutes ago, when you submit that through the API, the system immediately kicks it out and gives me a 400 bad request. I know that the ID number is invalid. And then the second scenario is your ID number wasn't whitelisted. So if you do get 400 with an error indicating that you're not whitelisted, please reach out to us in the Slack channel, and then we'll quickly sort you out and make sure that your details is put onto the whitelist, and then you can continue. All right. Error 401, unauthorized. Please be on the lookout for this one. It relates to the username and the password. So again, 2 scenarios. Either you forgot to submit the username and the password in your call, or you've used the wrong username and password. Again, I'll show you in Postman where you can quickly check this to see if it's correct. And then lastly, 500 internal server error. Again, 2 possible scenarios there. As I've mentioned previously, we are using the production database. There is no test database, so this is a real life scenario. The first one is the golden source is offline. Apologies up front. It's literally outside of our control. Let's hope that the government is fully online this weekend and none of you receive the golden sources offline error message. And then technically the worst of them all, unexpected exception occurred. Something dramatically went wrong there. As soon as you get those, hopefully you won't get it. Please reach out to us on the Slack channel and then we'll immediately have a look at that one. All right. The rest of the presentation is Postman related, but rather than showing you presentation, let me do it live in Postman itself. All right. I believe all of you have got access to Postman. If you don't have, www.postman.com, just download the freeware. It's available. You will be able to use it over the weekend. We will also distribute, mind you, we've already distributed the Postman collection again on the contactable Slack channel, so all of you should have received it. But let me just quickly show you the ins and outs of Postman. All right, once you've opened Postman, file, import. You want to import a file, so you'll just click upload the files, and then just navigate to where you've saved the Postman collection from the Slack channel. So there's the client one. I'm just going to open that. Yes, I'm happy, and I'm going to say import. All right, and then it's done. You'll notice under workspaces, the client is there. Let's just expand it, and there is the API, the Post API. All right, take note, there's the URL that you will be calling. That's the same URL that we included in the presentation. All right, you'll notice in Postman, it highlights the details that you need to complete, 2 green dots. So the very first one is authorization. Immediately, please make sure that the type is set to basic auth. Lots of options. We're going to use basic auth. And then the first one that you need to complete is your username. So let me just bounce back to our presentation and let us pick up the username. and then our password, pick that up, and I'm done. Show password, yes, I'm happy with that. All right, so your credentials is in, and then as I've mentioned under body, that is your input, literally a single input. So let me just put that in quotations and submit, send, done. All right, as you all can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that's garbage. That isn't a valid ID number, and immediately the system returns invalid ID number. But take note here, in your status, bad request. So please check your statuses. All right, then the other thing that I would just want to highlight, these 5 icons here on the left, third one that says code for all of you. So Postman defaults to the curl, and there you can see the basic details, and you can literally copy and paste this into your code set. But this is where Postman is really handy. If you're a C# person, there's your C#. If Python is your poison of choice, there's your Python details. So literally an extensive library that will help you out. There's the API, the URL. As you all know, that obviously the username and password is not sent through in clear text, so it's converted in a header to a base 64 string. There's the basic authorization picked, and there is my input row. Really, we tried our best to keep this as simple as possible. Let me just show you something else that you need to be on the lookout for. Firstly, if you forget to put in your username and password, you're going to get a 401. But I'm just going to subtly change the password. And let's do a send again. And immediately, 401, unauthorized. So it just ties back into the presentation. Be on the lookout for this 401. As soon as you see it, just make sure that your username and your password is correct. All right, so it keeps running against the invalid ID number. I think you'll understand I'm not going to put in my actual ID number because it's going to return all of my personal details. But let me just show you what the response object will look like. All right, where were we? All right, so we've discussed the navigation of just opening. We've discussed the details on the authorization. Okay, here is, there I've inserted a false ID number, but this is what the response object will look like. All right, so the golden source returns a couple of parameters. On NPR, National Population Register. So true indicates, yes, this is a valid ID number and the government has got something for you. On Harness means Harness is the photo library database for the government. True means, yes, there's a picture for you. Date of death ties in with death indicator. That literally means if you've passed away or not. So in my instance, I can luckily say I'm alive, hence the death indicator is false. But had a person died and you've entered their ID number, their registered date of death would appear there as well. I'm confident that none of the participants tonight should receive details there. Hopefully not. Then ID issue date and smart card issued. The government is recording the fact whether an individual has received one of the new smart card IDs. If you've received it, the status will be true, and then they'll print the date there of when that card was issued. If you haven't received a smart card a smart card ID, and you still have your old Green Book ID, the issue date of the Green Book ID will appear there. Then obviously the most important information that the participants are after, your surname and your name, and then obviously the ID number will be returned to you. The transaction number, that's an internal number that the government uses, and then your place of birth, which in my instance is then obviously South Africa. As I've mentioned previously, for foreign nationals that have naturalized to South Africa, the government will record the foreign country as your place of birth. So very simple, but it's powerful. The whitelisting remains important. You'll only be able to call your own ID number, as we will not be whitelisting anyone that's outside of the event for the weekend. But then that number will return your name and your surname. And I'm confident that you'll come up with some clever ideas of where to incorporate that in your solution. All right. Then the last bit, we've discussed the authorization. This is always a hot point to get started. It's basic auth. Just make sure that you've got the correct username and the password. Then there should be absolutely no areas for you to fail. All right, and I think that is it. Are there any questions? I know that felt really quick. Am I still on time?
Awesome. Thank you so much for that amazing presentation. I know that our viewers at home are absolutely enjoying themselves, and they've been taking notes throughout. Thank you so much. We do not actually have any questions at the moment, but should they come, we'll ensure that we will pass them your site. And we want to also take the moment to thank you as well for being one of our amazing sponsors and for making this event possible. Contactable is our gold sponsor, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much to Peter and for sharing your evening with us and sharing your insights with us. Thank you, sir.
That's a pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Colleagues, I hope you are having fun and you're taking as much notes as possible, and that the insights shared with you by our esteemed guests and presenters do actually help you to improve your solution, or to actually think deeply around how you can develop a value proposition that works. We have been having a number of amazing speakers and presenters giving us an overview of what we need to take into consideration, the various tools and technologies that are available for us, and some of the things that we need to take into consideration. I hope you've been enjoying yourself. Our next speaker actually comes from Huawei Cloud South Africa, and it's Mr. Mark Wong, who is actually going to be joining us live right now. Mr. Mark, are you there with us? Good evening. How are you doing?
Can everyone see me? Yes, really good.
I'm very, very good. As you know, here in South Africa, we are celebrating Heritage Day. How did you celebrate Heritage Day?
Actually, I'm sitting right in front of my computer and trying to present for you. Yes.
Awesome.
I think network is not very good, right? Latency is a little bit long, I think. May I turn off my camera?
Just a slight delay there, but I hope you can still hear. We're going to try to get Mark back actually online shortly, just to ensure that we've got the best coverage. Huawei is our silver sponsor for this amazing hackathon, and I want to just understand from your side what inspired Huawei to partner up with MTN again on this amazing hackathon. Maybe you can talk to that.
Okay, that is great. I will share my screen. Okay, right. Can you see my slides right now?
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. We're still getting ready for our webinar with Huawei, which is going to be really, really awesome. Mark is ready to give us a great presentation. Before we do that, we're going to take a quick video to just give you a bit of context and to see basically what Huawei is doing in the space. Shortly after this.
This is a land of wonder. The source of all life, the cradle of civilization. now, a wave of intelligence is spurring new growth. Cloud and AI are breathing new life into this fertile land of ours. Here, intelligence connects all things, driving insights for a smarter future. Track weather changes, uncover the secrets of time and space. Explore the depths of the universe with relentless computing power. Tap into the pulse of Mother Nature, bringing smart agriculture to the field. Analyze geological structures to unearth more resources. Activate the value of data for more efficient use of energy. Accelerate viral gene analysis to save people's lives. On this land, computing unlocks boundless possibility. Build intelligent roads for a faster, safer drive home. Reclaim the desert and give life back to Earth. Free up workers with intelligent inspection. Jumpstart the digital economy with intelligent data infrastructure. Make minds safer, smarter. Teach and learn more freely, anytime, anywhere. Push beyond limits and scale new heights. On this vibrant land, AI is driving an intelligent upgrade, powering industry growth. Together, we can build an open, collaborative ecosystem that thrives on shared success. On this fertile land, let's build an intelligent world together with ubiquitous cloud and intelligence for all scenarios.
Wow, I hope you colleagues are inspired to see this amazing work that is done by Huawei. And we have Mark, who is going to give us a great presentation and this evening. Mark, over to you.
Okay, thank you. And okay, maybe a lot of you heard about Huawei as a smart device maker, but and Huawei actually we have the leading global provider of ICT infrastructure, and also as today's topic, we are Huawei Cloud of South Africa, and as you can see of the screen, and there is all the AZs and all the regions we have launched all around the world. And in South Africa, currently we have 2 AZs, and in 2025 we are planning to launch more 2 AZs in Nigeria and Kenya. And so, we are, Huawei is a leading hardware company. And so when we build cloud, we build the whole architecture. So no matter from the hardware to software, and we use united technology to make sure that the hardware will release the full power. And this also ensures the end-to-end security for our customers. And so next picture, I will show you, you can see that all the services we have launched in 2021. And Huawei Cloud has continually innovated and also upgrade its full stack cloud native technology. And we are rolled out more than 220 cloud services. And also we have been cooperated with a lot of partners all around the world and have some of you will use Huawei Cloud as your developing tools of the competition. But today we are trying to talk something maybe will help you through your developing career. And so we all know that many companies are trying to finish the transformation. We call them that they want to migrate to the cloud. But when you migrate to a cloud, that not mean you just create a virtual machine on the cloud and deploy your services on the cloud. So I used to be a developer of a video service for Huawei Cloud. So when we first deploy our services on the cloud, that is, we have face a lot of problems. The first thing is when you upgrade your service, you need to only upgrade it in the midnight, because when you do that, your service have to be interrupted. So how to solve this problem? How to make your service more reliable on the cloud? That is what you need to solve in your developing career. And so how to do that? So one of the great tool you need to know is Kubernetes. So understand what is that, and I want to say is that in this area, Huawei Cloud have a great achievement. So no matter in Asia and all around the world, we are the major contributor to the Kubernetes communities. So, and you can use Docker to create a lot of things like cloud native. That is what I need to talk next part. And I want to say about DevOps is that everyone knows software engineering is a young subject, but it grows really fast. The development move change from we know as waterfall to agile. Now we call this is DevOps. So also the form of deliverable has evolved from software into we know as the developers to achieve the innovative idea on the cloud. So for Huawei Cloud, if you use it as the tools to develop the things, so on the one hand, we provide end-to-end resources in DevOps. So from code, you can have the Elastic Cloud Server, just as you know, there's a virtual machine that allow you to build your own coding environment to code online. And then from building to release to deploy and also the operation and monitor, we have a service that is service stage. So when you are trying to deploy your service on the cloud, we know that the most difficult thing is to manage all the environment on the cloud. So service stage will help you to manage all of the resources you need on the cloud. So that is the things we have. And the last page I want to show is an example for you. So you can see this is a weather forecasting application. And in the right picture, you can see there is 4 microservice. And this is a microservice architecture service. And through the service stage, you can no matter management your container resources and also your computing and storage resources and also your IP resources. So there's all the things you can do in service. Pull your code from GitHub and build and deploy it in the test environment. And that is all the things you can do through service stage. Okay, I will talk that is all the things I want to talk this day, and hope you that when you decided to go on the path of being a developer, you will always need to keep learning and keep to know what is the most great technology around the world, and try to make it and in your own product, in your own application. Okay, that is all the things I want to say. And if you have any questions, we have also have experts in the chatting channel, and you can just send it in the channel, and we will answer the questions. Okay, that is all.
Thank you very much, Mark, for that great presentation that you've shared with us. I believe our participants are, inspired, and they would know how to navigate, moving forward. And I want to just quickly rectify something here. Huawei is actually our gold sponsor, not our silver sponsor for this hackathon. I see that gold is trending this year at the TADHackZA 2021, and thank you very much for being one of our sponsors for this particular hackathon. You've shared a number of ideas around learning what a developer needs to do to ensure that they can be at the forefront of innovation. Any top 3 things that they need to take into consideration as they develop their solutions over the weekend? Just some tips from your side with our for our participants.
Okay, from my side, the top 3 thing is the first, you need to plan and discuss with your partner. So know exactly what you're trying to do. And then is the thing is try to decide, the second thing is to decide what kind of technology, what kind of architecture you want to use. And the third thing is just do as best as you can. Okay.
Great nuggets, great nuggets. I mean, how do we ensure, one other area is team dynamics, right? Because they're working in teams. What can they do to ensure that they can, come together well and work well effectively together over this short time period? Because we've got very short time window. What would be your advice around the issue of time and teams? Yeah.
Yes, so if there is any possible, so from my suggestion, you can just have an on-site meeting, maybe a dinner or something. We'll just let you more like a team. That is important for you to, in the competition, to communicate with each other more smoothly. Yes, I think this is important. Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Mark, for sharing those insights with us. Communication, very important. You need to plan, you need to decide. You also need to know what you're actually solving for. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us, and looking forward basically to engaging with you further. And also, if our participants have questions, they will go to our Slack channel and to ask the questions as time goes. Thank you very much for spending this time with us. We are empowered. We appreciate your time. Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, a great evening we've had and we've been having. So it's been really amazing to actually, hear from our sponsors. A lot of companies have come, to the fore. The TADHackZA 2021 has been growing, from strength to strength. As you see, the number of the team members that we have, this year is over 60 teams actually that are participating this year. And I think it's really incredible to see this growth and basically development happening, and also to see companies that are at the forefront of developing innovative solutions, in our market, coming to the fore to create opportunities for young people, to actually solve, problems that really matter in our society. And I hope you're inspired, to hear from all the companies that have actually presented for us this evening. We always say, if there are any questions that you have, please make the most of the platforms that we have. As you heard from our presenters, there are plenty of mentors that are available to actually assist you with any question that you may have. Time is of the essence. We need to seize the day. We need to seize this time that we have and maximize the time that we have. At the same time, communication is absolutely critical. And also having a business case, as we're solving, issues, to understand who am I solving this for, and how do they, what is my value proposition to them, and how can I develop that particular value proposition for them. I understand that tomorrow is going to be really on fire. We've got a lot of amazing activities lined up for you for tomorrow. We'll also be connecting with our counterparts from other parts of the world, which is fantastic. What I like about these kinds of hackathons is that they give us an opportunity to be able to connect, with each other, and to connect with other, developers across the other parts of the world and other cities. And in so doing, we can network broadly, but also be able to benchmark against the best. The companies that have presented to us, our partners, also have demonstrated that you can build a solution from Africa, and part of that solution can be a global. We are seeing global players, but we're also seeing local players coming together to actually build a working ecosystem. Mark from Huawei is actually a solutions architect at Huawei, and as you'd have heard from his presentation, he highlighted some of the really cool things that we need to take into consideration moving forward. Thank you very much to our presenters who've actually given us their presentations so far. Our next speaker actually comes from a company, TCS, Tata Consulting Services, and our speaker will actually also be taking us through some of the nuggets that we need to take into consideration as we develop our solutions. Our speaker is Mr. Mani Jami, and Mr. Mani Jami is actually a lead solutions architect looking at supply chain digital engagement. But before we invite Mr. Mani Jami to come and speak to us and give us his presentation, I would like to just quickly play a quick video that will actually demonstrate to you what Tata Consulting Services are doing.
You know what drives the world? Belief. A belief that the world can be a better place. A place where human life is celebrated. A place where equality has a seat in the boardrooms. Where viruses have left the building and the planet. Where the only room for hunger is in the eyes of champions. Where there is thirst for moonshots. Where sustainability is not just part of a cool #goals. A place where we can breathe. And so can the communities we belong to. These beliefs may sound audacious to many, but you are not alone. We at TCS share your beliefs, and we know how to bring them to life. We are fellow travelers on your journey, equally excited, bringing everything: know-how, innovation, and agility. What do you believe we can do together? We are TCS, building on belief.
Good evening, Mr. Mani. How are you doing?
All good, all good. How are you?
Very good, thank you. We are super excited and looking forward to your presentation. We've got an amazing team of young people that are excited to hear, how do we drive engagement, on our digital platforms. And also, I know that I see from your title that you look after, you're a solutions architect looking at, supply chain, but also that digital engagement. Perhaps before you move into your presentation, you can just take us through, some of your observations around what, we can do, or our developers need to take into consideration to drive engagement.
Yes, definitely. Considering this pandemic situation from last 2 years, which has actually triggered our ideation towards the digitization. Okay, it has been immense for every enterprise organization to give importance to this digitization of this world and bring more innovation to the customers that can bring more revenues to the enterprises. And as you know, in the last 2 years, it has been vital. Many companies have been closed because of this pandemic, lockdowns, all those stuff. So it is super important. Now we need to put attention towards our agility and the innovations towards the digitalization and bring the value out of it.
Awesome. No, super, fantastic. I'm looking forward as well to your presentation, and I know that my colleagues and the participants and the viewers at home are also looking forward to just hearing some of the insights, from you. So we'll take your presentation now. I'll invite you to do your presentation, and then after your presentation, we'll just engage a little bit to see basically if some of the questions or some of the insights that our participants can take into consideration. And over to you, sir.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. This is Mani, and I've been working as a solution architect from TCS from last 14 years in supply chain and digital engagements. And I would like to thank MTN for giving this opportunity to be the sponsor for this hackathon. And I'm super excited to see the innovation and ideation from the fresh minds. Definitely, I believe that will transform, that will contribute some transformation and bring some agility in this digital transformations. Okay, before going to the offering from our TCS, I would like to play a short video about the platform called TCS TADHackZA, which is a TCS data marketplace. Okay, so let me share my video screen and
staying competitive and relevant in today's digital world is transforming business relations with partners and providers. It's the blend of data and technology that is forging such high-functioning ecosystems and enterprise business models. TCS TADHackZA has been designed to fuse the two halves of technology and experience to enable seamless information exchange at the very heart of these ecosystems. Meet Terry, the Vice President of Marketing at the Superstore. Her plan is to open a few new apparel outlets under the Superstore brand. And for that, she needs information on high footfall zones in the city. So Terry places a request in the ecosystem, and in a matter of minutes, she gets a response from a local telecom company that has what she seeks. And just like buying a commodity, Terry purchases the information through the data exchange platform. The buy is pre-verified for authenticity and passes through relevant privacy and security controls even before the purchase is closed. A few thousand miles away, we've got Simon, a group procurement officer focused on procurement efficiency. He wants to democratize supplier information and catalog their products to make it accessible to the group companies at an optimized cost. He sets up a centralized supply chain information ecosystem where suppliers can register and publish their standardized product lists, inventories, and pricing details. The group companies and their respective procurement functions register as consumers of these synergized product catalogs, making downstream procurements quicker, easier, and cost-effective. Ecosystem models are centered around democratization and commercialization of data assets. TCS TADHackZA forms the backbone which enables ecosystems to monetize and commercialize enterprise data assets. Empowering the service with blockchain allows controlled, trusted, secure exchange of information and services, from healthcare information exchanges to supply chain gateways, connected cars to COVID-proof entertainment and leisure services. We encourage businesses to participate in newer G&T ecosystems and differentiate themselves. Now go boundaryless with an innovative business ecosystem that turns data into opportunity. Value your business with TCS TADHackZA.
Thanks for watching the video. So let's go to the presentation. Let me open the presentation, and I hope you are watching the presentation. Yes, here we go. Okay, so what is TADHackZA? Okay, so TADHackZA is a data marketplace platform. It is a TCS intellectual property that has been offered as part of this hackathon for the hackers to monetize and democratize their data. Okay, if you see by 2022, okay, 35% of your large organizations will be either sellers or buyers of data via formal online data marketplaces. Why it is happening? Why it is happening like this? Okay, so many enterprises are producing enormous of data by their customer activities, and they have the roadmaps to monetize the data. they can cross-sell the data across the different markets that bring agility and transformation and bring revenue to the organizations. For example, let's say I'm like, I want to open a brand shop. I want to sell my cell phones across the country. Before entering into the market, I would like to understand the statistics. Thanks for bringing back to this presentation. Sorry for the fluctuation in the network. I hope I'm very clear and audible to everyone. Okay, let's come back to the original slide. Okay, so TCS TADHackZA is a platform. It is developed by TCS as an intellectual property, and it allows the consumers and data providers to sell and buy the data securely and safely. Okay, so what is the necessity to sell and buy these data? Okay, so by 2022, even 35% of our large organizations will be either sellers or buyers of data via formal online data marketplaces. Okay, every organization in the current world is generating enormous of data that can potentially bring some insights and which will be helpful across the marketplaces. For example, okay, so let us, I would like to open a cell phone shop across South Africa. Okay, for that, I would like to understand the sentiments or the seasonality of the sales across the demographic of the South Africa. So for that, I would like to see the data, and I would like to analyze the data of this sales data from any data marketplace channel, and that can potentially bring and so that it will help for me to establish my business across the country. Okay, so this is why every enterprise is trying to capitalize or monetize their data eventually. This is one of the revenue factor that can be generating that can contribute a part of revenue for their organization. Coming to the next slide. Okay, so TCS TADHackZA, as I told, it is an intellectual property as designed to help organize, democratize, monetize, and commercialize the data while effectively dealing the typical challenges associated with the data. Okay, so now the important factor what it is bringing here is classification of data. Okay, so what is classification of data? Why it is so important? Okay, as a buyer, I would like to see the data with my catchy words Okay, for example, in the current situation, let us say I want to see the data, I would like to buy the COVID related data. Okay, for that, I would like to see the data under the categories like COVID-19, like COVID-19 deaths, COVID-19 impacted vaccination cases, something like that. So this is why it is important to categorize and subcategorize the data in the data marketplace. And TCS comes with these important features like privacy, masking management. Privacy is very important factor for the buyers and sellers, and to mask their data so that the data cannot be leaked. And it has also an important factor like search and discoverability. Okay, you can search with your keywords to see whether the need for your business for the data is available or not. Okay, and contract management. Okay, let us say if I liked one data set, I would like to buy from the seller. Then I can buy the data, I can bring a contract, and this tool allows a module that will allow you to comprehensively define your terms and conditions before you purchase the data. For example, let us say I'm a data provider and I have created a data product to sell my sales data, but I have put a terms and conditions saying my consumer not to resell the data. So I can provide those terms and conditions, and I can form a legal contract and ask my consumer to buy the data before purchasing. Okay, so then we have order management and pricing, where you can define the price of the data set, and we have the negotiation functionality for between the buyer and seller, and we have audit and compliance. We will secure complete audit from the seller and buyer across the platform, and we have identity management, which will allow the user to sign in securely and log in into the application. Okay, coming to the TCS DEXAM, how it works. All you need to do is first you need to identify the data from your application that can bring or that can be monetized into the platform. So all you need to do is get your data and create a data product into the data marketplace and define your terms and conditions for the data set. Next, once the consumer, okay, every consumer has to register into this tool to see the data catalog, and they can see the requirement is if it is matching, they can buy or they can proceed to the buy. Once the consumer find what they need, they have to negotiate with the provider and finalize the contract by reading the terms and conditions. Once the contract is active, then the consumer gets an access to the data. Further, consumer can even incorporate the data into their work or use a platform edge analytics. Okay, let us say I have purchased the raw data, and if I want to see, visually I want to see it can bring more value. So I can write my own pipeline on the data set, and I can bring my own analytics or my own insights further can be published and monetized. Now we have provided a user guide how to access the data from the user interface application. Also, we have provided the APIs to create your data products, to access the data catalog, to create your subcategories, to see your data fields, and we also provide secure token authorization API. First, you need to create the secure token authorization, then you can access all other APIs. Further, I would like to go through into the user guide. Okay, so this is the user guide. I already shared across the Slack channels. All the teams can check into the TCS sponsor channel, and they can find this user guide. And if they have any questions, they can contact one of the developer team. Okay, so now if you see, it is very simple. All you need to do is the two steps. One step is you need to sign up and you need to register into the application. Okay, once your registration is approved, then you can log in with the user ID and password which was created. Okay, so further, once your data set is finalized, okay, so I would like to present some use cases for this for all the hackers to use this platform. Okay, every idea. Okay, every idea in this hackathon can potentially generate some data which can be monetized. Okay, the theme is also how we can bring the monetization and bring our scale up our revenues in this pandemic situation. Okay, so the idea which is actually generating the revenue, but its data can also further add up the revenue, and it can be monetized and bring more revenue to the organization. Okay, so we would like every hackathon to use this opportunity, and whatever the idea they're coming up, and they can potentially generate some data or templatize the data, and it can also be monetized using our application, and it can also one of the revenue increasing factor, and can be well presented to the jury. Now there is one more use case for the hackers is cross-selling or data interchange. So the idea generated by one hackathon team might be useful for the other hackathon teams. Let us say my idea is to generate the COVID-related deaths and cases. Maybe that particular data set might be useful for the other hackathon idea, like maybe they were producing an application for the clinics and hospitals. Maybe they can use the data produced by one idea. So this platform enables safe exchange of data between the ideas, so that everyone will get benefit to accelerate their innovation. Now, how to access this application? So I have already told how to register and how to log into the application. All you need to do is first you need to create your categories. So we have already loaded a lot of global categories and subcategories. But if your particular data does not belongs to those categories, you can create your own category and subcategory. Further, you can create your data source. So the step-by-step guide was given in the user guide, but you can also go into the application, and you can go under the master and manage data source. You can link, you can extract the data from your data source either by Postgres. You can create your own data link, and you can extract the data. The moment you extract the data, so the data definition will be presented, and the data type will be automatically generated. Okay, so now coming to this scenario. Okay, so whatever the data that has been extracted, the definition has been extracted from your data sets might not be understandable to the business. Okay, so they are very too technical for the consumers to understand. So that is why the system allows you to create the business metadata. So what is business metadata? It is an understandable language for all the consumers for each and every column for the data sets. Okay, so all you need to do is you again go to the master section. Under the master section, you can create, you can manage business data, and you can create your own understandable definition of each column. Okay, once your business glossary is created, okay, so you need to create the attributes for each business glossary. Okay, so attribute name and attribute description. Let us say, take an example, my sale date. Okay, I have a device sale, and there is a column called sale underscore date. So sale underscore date might not be very user friendly for the consumer. So what I would write is, okay, purchase or customer sold date or customer purchase date, something like that. And also I can write a description. This is the date where the customer has placed an order with the application, something like that. So this will allow the consumer to understand the data definition bit more clearly. Okay, once your data definition is completed, all you need to do is you need to create your data product. Okay, and you need to create your data product definition. So this is also very important. You need to create your data product name clearly, and also you can provide some description how this data can be useful across the markets. Okay, this is all your marketing steps. Okay, so let us say if I go to the Amazon, if I see like a Oppo phone. So you can see it, they will also tell nicely like 12 megapixel, 6 GB RAM. So all the different features which can attract the customer, they will define in the description. Likewise, you need to define the description of the data product. Okay, once the description is done, again, you have the capability to check the attributes which you need to expose as a to the consumers. Might be, for an example, let's say you have 100 columns in your data. Might be you are interested only to sell a subset of 10 columns to the buyers. Okay, so then you can uncheck the unwanted columns or copy or any columns which are like customer information you must not expose. So you can uncheck them so that they cannot be published. Okay, once you are done this step, you need to enter the pricing and you can define your terms and conditions. Then you can publish the data. Okay, once the data is published, so all the consumers who are registered in this application can see your product. If they are interested, they can buy and negotiate with the data provider. Okay, so whatever the steps you have done, okay, so this can also be done via APIs. So we have also a component called data analytics. Okay, so that has an interactive dashboard definition. You can create your own pipeline, you can create your own visualizations to further analyze the data. You can create your own aggregators. Okay, we have also a AI ML platform which you can model your algorithm to bring more insights from the data that can even be monetized. Okay, so here we go, the APIs. Let me quickly bring through the APIs. Yeah. So here we go, the APIs. So we have the API, token API. You need to first create your token. The same token has to be used to authorize the further calls. Okay, so this is how you need to provide your authentication. Okay, so the token which is generated from the first API has to be entered in the authentication header. Okay, so then so these are the other APIs to find the categories, to find the business metadata, to find the business glossaries and attributes, definition of each data set. Okay, so we have whatever you have seen in the application interface can also be retrieved through APIs. Okay, and you can also publish your data products. Let us say your application generates large variant of data which has to be monetized. Okay, so then you can have these APIs built, it can be integrated into your application where you can define your data products through APIs rather than going into the application. Okay, and you can even you can also download the complete data sets that are available in the data marketplace through the APIs. Okay, so now okay, so these the complete user guide, step-by-step creation of data products, everything is documented and has been shared in the Slack channels. If you have any questions, you can reach us. Further, let me go to the presentation back. Okay, so apart from this TCS TADHackZA, we are also giving TCS mentor assistance for the teams. This is we call 3i support. So what is this 3i support? Let us say if any team, if they're in initial ideation stage, so our mentor team can assist you from 3 angles, which is ideation, innovation, and implementation. We
Awesome. Thank you very much, Mr. Manijami. I know that we had some technical issues towards the end of your presentation. However, I know that you are already at the end of your presentation. Okay, no, I see that our technical team is saying that Mr. Manijami is back with us. I'm glad to actually hear this. Mafi can actually do some amazing things during presentation. Maybe you want to just give us the last bits of your presentation. I think you are highlighting how our participants can reach the mentors and what the process would look like from ideation to implementation. Do you perhaps want to talk to that, Mr. Mani?
Sure. So apologies for the network glitch I'm facing here. Yes, so we have TCS mentor assistants where we can a team can reach us with their problem statement. Further, we can ideate, innovate, and implement the assist in their solution implementation and presenting there to the jury. Okay, so we have 4 different champs in these mentorships from the technology side, business side, and functionality side, and from the agility side. Okay, so we take any problem statement. If the idea requires technical assistance in selecting of technologies, then our mentors from the technology section can assist the team in defining their technologies. Okay, let us say if an idea requires any UI UX design support to create an intuitive screens, then we definitely our champs can reach the team and help the team in bringing the value by creating intuitive screens, and definitely they will bring more ideation, creating the user journeys. Okay, so we have published the complete developer team with their phone numbers and email addresses in the Slack channels. You can reach any of us. You can ping us through WhatsApp, or you can send an email, or you can even huddle in the Slack. Okay, yeah, and that's it from our end, and we wish all the best for each and every participant in this hackathon.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And before I let you go, I want to just take this moment to basically check with you. I mean, what are the top 3 tips that you want to give to our candidates, given that we have limited time and they need to come up with solutions quickly, and also hopefully, win this challenge. Maybe give some top 3 tips that you can give to them before you leave.
Yeah. First one is teamwork. Okay, so create your idea, innovate it, and see what are the possible revenue creating elements in that idea. And second thing is choose the technologies wisely, because we have very limited time. Okay, if you have chosen complex technologies, it may attract the time and it may lead some incompletion of your idea. And share the work across the teams wisely. Okay, so one team might work on the front end, the other team can work on the APIs or the back end work. Then have the regular discussions to check the completion of the work, to check the what current status of the work, and that's it. So close the idea and present nicely, bring your presentation, and by keeping all the revenue factors and what possible benefits to the business, how your idea can bring the revenue in this pandemic situation. So present, stick to the point, and bring all the necessary elements that can attract the jury. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for those nuggets. And I think I'm seeing the colleagues at home jotting down those tips and making sure that they can make the most of that time together and really communicate and also choose the solutions wisely. I think that's a very important, choose the technologies wisely, because we now have a buffet of technologies, which one to choose. It can become a bit confusing, but choose them wisely, and also with the revenue models in mind, to say, how am I going to make money out of this particular solution? How am I going to deliver value, to my stakeholders through the solution? Thank you very much for spending your evening with us and for sharing your insights with us. I think our team and our participants are absolutely inspired by your presentation. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's basically part of our series of speakers and webinars that we've had this evening. We had amazing, presentations coming through from, our sponsors, and just highlighting what you can actually do with their technologies. And I think this must be inspiring to you as you innovate and come up with solutions, over this amazing hackathon. As you know, this hackathon is part of an amazing, hackathon that is taking place across many cities in the world, and tomorrow we'll have we'll get an opportunity in a moment to connect with our counterparts in other parts of the world, and which I think is really awesome, allowing us to benchmark with the best in the world, but at the same time to network widely and to see what our counterparts are also doing in their respective countries. We have amazing mentors that are actually available to assist you. I have been informed that you must absolutely abuse your mentors. You've given permission to actually abuse your mentors. Make the most of their time. They're available, they're capable, they're ready to actually assist you, move forward and to move your solution to the next level. And I understand as well that we encourage you to make the most of your Slack channels, because inside the Slack channels, we've got the announcement section, which actually will highlight some of the key things that you need to take into consideration throughout this hackathon. Make the most of those channels. Go and check them regularly to ensure that you're not missing out on key announcements that we have for you. Reach out to mentors. Always, whenever there are things that you need help with, please do not be afraid to actually ask questions. We've got amazing thought and practice leaders who are ready to assist you all the way and ensure that you can have a winning solution at the end of the day. Tomorrow, we'll actually kick off things early in the morning with what we call the SOHA, the SOHA, the State of the Hackathon Address, which will give you everything that you need to know about what's happening with the hackathon. We will start first thing in the morning at 9 a.m. in the morning tomorrow, bright and early. Please ensure that you are early and you are there to actually see and understand what is taking place within the hackathon. Remember to continue posting using the hashtag TADHackZA, ensuring that the world knows what you're doing, that you're doing the buzzer things this weekend. And remember to actually take those snaps in the morning, and post them and demonstrate what you're doing. We love seeing actually where you are actually hacking from. Also join for a lot of really cool things that we have lined up for you tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be an awesome day, and I want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors, for making this possible. MTN, thank you very much, MTN South Africa, for making this possible. We thank Ayoba, our headline sponsor, for making ensuring that we can actually be able to have this amazing initiative that actually connects young people also with thought and practice leaders across the sector. We have amazing sponsors as well who've partnered up with MTN. We've got IBM, we've got Huawei, we've got Globitom, we've got Contactable, we've got CSGI, we have TCS, basically, who also came to the party to ensure that they can support you moving forward. Thank you to all our sponsors. Thank you to all the technical team. We've got people behind the scenes that are ensuring that everything flows. We thank them basically for ensuring that they can help with us with this program. We know that there's also a technical team that is running things, ensuring that they can support you. Thank you very much to our technical team for the work that they've been doing. And we also have to take this moment to thank you, for forming part of this amazing hackathon and for your commitment and ensuring that you can actually learn, have fun, and at the same time solve some of the most critical issues that our businesses, our governments are facing across the world. And hopefully out of this initiative, you can actually be able to build businesses. I know that if you look and you go to the website, you'll see that over the last 7 years, there have been amazing developments that have come as a result of this initiative, and amazing businesses amazing prizes that have been won, and continue to engage with us throughout this particular hackathon. And I want to thank you as well for allowing me to be your MC today and journeying with me as we're moving forward. And I'm very excited actually to see what we'll be doing collectively, and the people that we'll be spending time with, the thought leaders that will be actually sharing their insights with us throughout this weekend. I want to wish you a great evening further and say, may the good, or they say the gig Lord, may the gig Lord actually be with you until we meet again tomorrow. Thank you very much. Cheers.